Hello, my name is Stefan Holstein, and now I'm going to talk about the fundamentals of search engine optimization. You can understand a lot of tips and tricks and read a lot, but first, when you understand what you're actually doing there, you will be able to have an overview and then get your page to rank better. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is what actually is Google, and not only what is Google, but how can we understand what it is, what are its limitations, and what can it do. And then we're gonna understand how a page is structured to give Google what Google is searching for, to achieve a good page rank. So let's start with what is Google. Google is a computer program that is sent to look at every website and then tell you what is the best website. And not only what is the best website, but you type a word and then Google tells you what is the best website for that word. It's called the search term. What is the best website? So Google can understand how much text is on a site, how much images are on a site, what the headings of each chapter say. But there's one thing that Google cannot understand, and that is what actually is meant by the words. Let's say, for an example, if you hear the word horse, you know it's a riding animal, it's a big animal, it can be brown and white. You like it, or you might not like horses or don't care too much for horses. You might think they are cute, and you know that they lived in the plains. You got a lot of information about horses and an emotional understanding of horses. So that we humans call that we understand this complex knowledge and emotional connection. We understand what a horse is. Google does not. Google is a computer program. It can say horse is in the category animal, and it's in the same category as elephant and tiger and other animals. But basically, Google does not even understand what a category is. When we have an emotional knowledge about what a category is and what it can be used for and stuff, Google does not have all this. For Google, it's just a word. It has no understanding in the terms that we have. So I want you to picture a book that is written completely in a foreign magical language, like magic, old mystical language that you just cannot understand. Other people can. The big magicians can read this stuff, but you cannot. So that is how Google feels. The Google computer. Somebody gives them a word, they go search the web, and they bring back the best pages without actually having a clue what's written there. So now I want you to understand. Now I want you to think of the following. Imagine you are an apprentice of a magician. Like you are a magician teaches you magic stuff, and you are young or learn that. At least you learn that. So now the magician says, go to the library, the big magic ancient library full of books, and get me a book about Xang Tor apostrophe. The magician says, go to the library and get me a book about Xang Tor. You got no idea what this is. This could be a person, this could be a magic spell, this could be a magic technique, it could be everything, you got no idea. But you got the word. Okay. Now you go into the library and you see many books. So what can Google do if it is given this task? In the internet, in the magic library, you would say there's only descriptive books about magic techniques, or maybe magic animals. Or there's only descriptive books in the library. But in the internet, there's web shops. There's books that are like descriptive. There's web pages that are like descriptive books. There are pages that are web shops. There are pages that are social media pages. So there's different type of pages. But since Google cannot understand, it has to somehow figure out which one is the best, and so it pretty much uses the following approach. It considers every page to be an information book, like in the big library. It considers every book as an information book. It doesn't matter if you have a web shop. So it's important for you, for your search engine optimization, to understand if Google comes to your page, it will say if it's good or bad, thinking that it is a book with informations, like in the library, because it cannot understand. It has to start somewhere. So you go into the library and you find books. Many books, you find a few books where the title says Xangtor, like is written on the book Xangtor, and you think, okay, they are probably very good. So you take a few books, and then you got a few books that say Xang Nong. You get a few books that say Xang Nong, and if Xang Tor would be a person, it could be a person that the magician wants to know about, then Xang Nong might be a person with a similar name, but it's definitely not what he's searching for. If Xang means gold, and Tor means making, and it's a book about the magic spell of making gold, and Xang Nong means maybe worth, and it describes what gold is worth in doing magic, then you would say, okay, it's somehow it could be the same. It could be a related topic. If Xang means gold and Nong means Nong means and it's another word for producing, like to make gold, to produce gold, to in any form, another word for Tor, then those would be both books that the magician could look for. So that's your first. That's the first thing you see is the website title. So you would, if you don't want to bring the wrong book, you would say, okay, this book has exactly in the title what the magician asked for. It's a pretty high chance that it will be better than this book. There's a pretty high chance for that. So, and this is a big library, and you got a lot of books, and you got quite a few books that say Xangtor, so you decide to go for that, because if it's a person, you're absolutely right, and if it's making gold, then just the person who wrote the book had the luck to just use the right word for making, so that you take the book. So you take these books. So these books compare, and they compare in their size. So size. Imagine you got a very soft, small little book, just 100 pages. You can shake it. It's very, very small, and it says Xangtor. And then you have another book that also says Xangtor, but it's big, heavy, 600 pages. Of course, what you do. You bring the big book. Like the magician can search what he wants in that, can search for what he wants. And you think, if somebody writes a really big book, then they probably know what they're doing. They probably went to take stuff from other books and wrote it in, like making a compendium. And first of all, you think there's a lot of information. That's the book on that topic. That's the big book on that topic. The other one is just whatever, somebody wrote something. So that's why the size of your internet page is majorly important if the apprentice magician wants to choose which book to take. Now, what is size? Size of an internet page is how many sub-pages, like you sell surfboards and surfing wax and surfing clothes. Those are all subcategories on your page. So they make the size. So you get the size is sub-pages. Sub-pages. Another part of the size is how many text is written in it. One book is 600 pages, the other book is just 100 pages. That's because it's filled with text. So text in general, just text, amount of text. So let's say you've taken books and you got several books that are big and you got several books that are small. You put the small ones aside. Then you open the books, and you open the book and you find that one book is just plain text, and the other book is text with images on every page. So you're probably gonna say, okay, this is probably the better book, because you don't know what it means, Xangtor. This could be important information. It could be that it's just the leaves that are used to make gold. It could be, but it also could be a person, so it could be an image of the person. So actually Google also cannot understand what is on the image. So you just see, okay, there's images that could be absolutely necessary to understand the progress, the thing that's done here. If it's making gold, this could be like this could be anything that is really needed. So the book with the images, you will think, is much better. That's why if you make a website, you make sure that you have a lot of images on them, because just because your book, your compendium book, that Google thinks of your website as a compendium book, even if it's a surf shop, that your compendium book has a lot of images, that the apprentice magician thinks images, that's probably the better book. So now you see in the book, big books, you have chapters. So there's chapters. One chapter says Xangtor Val. The next chapter says Xangtor Nu, and the next chapter says Xangtor Bet. So, if you look through the book, you got no idea what's written there, but you see the chapters. Xangtor Val, Xangtor Nu, Xangtor Bet. So, what you're thinking? This is proof that there's not only Xangtor written on the book. There's proof that the book actually speaks about Xangtor. That is proof for you, because one thing is, you don't want to get back to the magician and give him a book, and he says, you're stupid, what do I want with this book? Get me the right book. So, if there's chapters that repeat what the magician asked for, then you must think, I think this book describes in detail what the magician wants. You don't know what specifically he's searching for. If he might be looking for the Xangtor Nu. You just said Xangtor, but you don't know what he had in mind. So this book with the chapters all talking about what the person said has a good chance of being the right book, because if there's another book that talks a lot of Ksang Tor, but is missing just what the magician is searching for, then it will be best for you to bring the book that has more chapters. So that's if you have a surf shop, you make sure it has a lot of chapters saying surf equipment, surf wax, surfboard sales. Just make sure you have chapters. And now you look further into the book, and you see the book has not only chapters, but each chapter, the chapters are of course your menu structure on the page, or your links that you have on the page that link to different subpages. Those are of course the chapters of the book. So now there's not only the chapters. If you open the page, press the link, open the page of one of the chapters, there's a text written. So there's a text written. It's a good book, so you have an images in the text, under the text. That does not matter. You got images. So now you look at the text, you got no idea what it says, but you check if the word Ksang Tor is written in the text. So Ksang Tor. So it will be the case. There will be the word written Ksang Tor in the text. Probably the title is that. The chapter says that it will be in the description. But let's say you find a book that says Ksang Tor and talks about the Ksang things, but nowhere in the text this word is mentioned. You would say, I put that book aside. It has chapter, because what might Ksang Tor mean? Ksang Tor could mean descriptions about Tor, and then you see only the word Tor, but you might only see the word Tor in the text, but you cannot be sure if the magician is looking for descriptions about whatever Tor is, or if he's looking for techniques to describe Tor. So that's why you got to make sure that the word exactly is written in the text before you return that book. And the third way to make sure, and the next way to make sure that this book is about that, you check what is written under the images. There's text written under the images, and you check if the word Ksang Tor is also written under the images. So that's for a book. If you got a web page, also Google will check if in the address, let's say in the library section, is the word Ksang Tor is somewhere. So you got an address, http :/ your page name / Ksang -Tor, or in your case maybe buy surfboards. So that is what Google checks. It's like you being the apprentice magician checking if this book is the right book, even though you don't understand it. So it's under the right address. The title of the book, of course, is your web page title. Then there's a subtitle. The subtitle might also contain Ksang Tor. Then you got a specific page in the book that's like a chapter, which might be called Ksang Tor, and you got it's a decision how many chapters you have, how many texts you have, how many images you have, and from there you get an idea what makes Google pick your site. Somebody comes to search for something, what makes Google actually pick your site? And that is just that. How big is your site? How many images are there? And does it convincingly speak of what has been searched for? So, if you have a web shop, if you have a blog, if you have social media, whatever you have, understand it as being a compendium in a mystical language that the magician understands but you don't understand. Look at your text in that way. And then make sure you present a book that looks very good for the thing that is searched for. Many chapters, repeating the word that's searched for in title, subtitle, page title, chapters or links, on-page links, chapters, and in the text. Don't go overboard. Don't make it only this word, because then the apprentice magician will think, I don't understand what I'm reading, but a text only containing of one word cannot contain information. So usually you say 1.5% of all, you count all the words, and then 1.5% of that count should be the term that you want to be found for. So that's a rule of thumb. 1.5% of it's called keyword density. Xantor is your keyword. So whatever your page is, if you want to be found with Google, treat it like it's a book containing informations. That is most important. And understand where your keywords go. And understand that it is absolutely important to have the complete searched phrase in these sections, because if your title and keyword that is searched for is a bit different, as it could be Xang Nur. It could be Xang Nur, and your page would be in the first process that I described could be sorted out, because you're not sure, you don't know what it's actually meant. So in the first process, the book Xang Nur could be sorted out. So make sure you've got the complete phrase. If you want to rank for different phrases, let's say buy surfboards, order surfboards, great surfboards. If you don't know what the people type, then you make the following. You make a chapter with all three words: great surfboards, buy surfboards, order surfboards. And on each chapter you make text that repeats that phrase that the chapter is about. Get great surfboards at our super surf shop, because the moment you have a great surfboard, your surfing skill will improve. So, and then after you've written these sentences, you write 2 sentences with the keyword, then you write 2 sentences without the keyword to make sure you don't go overboard and don't get more than 1.5%. You write if the sun shines over the surf spots of this world, and the tide is high, then it will be sure absolutely fun to have the right equipment. So it does not talk about the keyword to make to loosen up the text, not make it too keyword dense text. And then you use, of course, if you have a web shop, you want to make advertising, and then you write 2 lines, not using the keyword, like our products are of the best quality. We assure you that that you get just you will have made the right choice with coming to our web shop. So you got so you loosen up the text. Words that contain the keyword, sentences that contain the keywords, and sentences that are advertising for you, and something else. Just like so that every 3rd sentence is is a keyword sentence. So you make sure you get a long text, but not too much keywords. That was one chapter. The next chapter might be I don't know what I had, buy surfboards maybe, then great surfboards was that, then buy surfboards, and you make another chapter, buy surfboards, and in the text you go, buy surfboards at our web shop, and if you do this, you will have a super great experience, and maybe you want to bring in some sentences of that look like that give you an image, like you speak in a cool surfer language, whatever. Just create a fairly long text. You should aim for at least 200 words of text for each subpage. That's not enough. Usually you aim for 2,500 words on each page, because Google is looking for information sites. So that's why if there's text, there's probably information. And then you make the next chapter. We had great surfboards, we had buy surfboards. Now next page is about order surfboards, and then on this page you make a text, order surfboards of this and this type. Oh yeah, that now I know what the third sentence is, specifically this product. So let's say you make up a good text. It contains of keyword sentences. Buy surf boards. Keyword sentences. Xantor in the sentences. Buy surfboards. Then advertising sentences. Our products are the best, and then description about what is written in this chapter. Say you have red surfboards, you have green surfboards, you have blue surfboards. You want to make sure that the user who comes on this page also is actually informed after you told Google what your site is about and what this chapter is about. After you made enough advertising, like our surfboards are the best, so that the buyer is convinced, then you go for specifically what this product is about. Red surfboards, like what you're actually selling in this chapter. Red surfboards are nice to look at on the beach because they are of a bright color, and so on. So you got these three type of sentences: keyword sentences, advertising sentences, and sentences speaking of specifically the product that you're selling in this chapter, in this subpage. A red surfboard, a blue surfboard, a long surfboard, or surfing clothes, and you speak especially about those, because that serves two purposes. There's real information for the viewer who, beside all Google search engine optimization, also wants real information, and also if Google wants to specifically not link to your shop, but to that certain thing. If somebody types buy surfboards red, then you got the chance that Google sees your page is about buy surfboards and it's about red. So Google can specifically link. So if you got a specific service selling something not anybody sells, or you're selling a big variety of things, then this is useful for saying on each subchapter what it is about. Keyword sentences, advertising sentences, specific sentences about the product that is sold here. So then you got chapters. The words in the chapters and the text under the images, and a lot of images, and the alternative text. Every image has an alternative text. Alt text. If you don't know what that is, look it up. Alternative text to images also speaks about Xangtor, and also speaks about red surfboards on the subpage that is about red surfboards. So that basically is how you understand your web page. Make it a big compendium of information, because Google looks for compendium books of information, because it does not know what a blog is, or what a shop is, or what a social media page is. It doesn't know, so it has to start somewhere. That's why whatever you have, make it like a compendium information book in a mystical language, making sure that the words show up. So, since Google is looking on the internet, and those internet pages are a bit different to book, you could also add script. A script, which is a little computer program that runs on your internet site, like a price calculator. Like if you type how many surfboards you want to buy, it tells you how much you have to pay. That's a typical computer program that can run on a shop page, like a calculator. But there's also a lot of other uses, other calculator ideas, other whatever you can imagine in terms of script. So a script makes the book better. If you don't know what it is about, if there are many scripts, it probably does something, so the book is better. It's like many images and much text. Scripts seem to make the book better. And the other thing is videos. Videos could be describing things, could show how things are done. Videos are nice to watch. People like videos. So just like images and script, video and a long text, videos are something that make Google think your page is better. That's basically what this video was about. To understand how Google works, and that it doesn't understand, and so you see your page as an apprentice magician having no idea of the mystical language. Design your page, if you want to design it to look like an information site. Even if it's a shop, make it look like an information site. Much subchapters, much text, much images, much videos, much script. The more the better. And make sure that the certain words that could be used, Xangtor or buy surfboards, order surfboards, all actually appear in the address, the title, the subtitle, the name of the page, and the chapter links in the menu or on-page links. Make sure that those words, that search for words, appear there, but don't go overboard, not more than 1.5% in the text, and not the same word in different, not always the same word in different chapters. It has to be Xangtor Nu, Xangtor Ma, Xangtor Xong, it has to be surfboards red, surfboards blue, surfboards green, because if you have only chapters saying surfboard, you would think there's probably not much information in that. It speaks always about the same stuff. Make sure you don't copy text too much, because if you read a book and on every page it says the same, actually exactly the same text, then you think, what's that for a book, and put it away. So make sure you have a different text. That's it. Create an information compendium. So that was this video. If you want to make the next step, after now fundamentally understanding search engine optimization, if you want to make the next step, I have a really, really important video for you about keywords, how you find keywords that really make you rank better, which is super important. This has been very important here to understand how to make your page, but also really important for you is to get this next step, this expert step of understanding how to pick those words that your page ranks for. So I link to that video in the description, and I link to the video at the end of this video in this video box. So make sure you check that out, and thank you for watching.